Hey, soul family. Welcome to Rooted in Grace with Shay, where we turn our wounds into wisdom and pain into purpose and power. All right, last Saturday, we spoke a little on breaking points and basically the moments we knew we needed to heal. Today, I want to touch on where that pain began, so where everything stemmed from. And for a lot of us, that's childhood trauma. Okay, childhood trauma involves events that are emotionally painful. Okay, that often results in lasting mental and physical effects because a lot of us had these things projected onto us and we didn't know how to heal. We didn't know how to release these traumas. So therefore, it then manifested into our adulthood as anxiety, depression for some, maybe difficulty forming certain relationships or staying in them. Emotional dysregulation, low self-esteem. There's so many other mental health challenges out there that could have shaped from childhood wounds. So I want you to think of your childhood environment, okay? How was your family dynamic? Did you experience any of these things on the screen? Instability, abandonment, rejection, deception, trust issues, perfectionist behaviors, or people-pleasing tendencies? For example, for me, the first one, instability. Okay, I grew up with not in a two-parent household. Okay, so I watched my mom pretty much doing everything, even though she wasn't really there mentally or present like a parent should be. I do feel like, she was carrying her own trauma. So that's where all of those generational curses began. But also with my father, he popped in and out. So he had his brother and sister taking on his job and taking care of his children. All right. So that right there is basically how I experienced the instability and the abandonment. Okay, the abandonment from me not really having my father around and him just doing whatever it is he wanted to do, and the instability with, my mom not really being present, but also us moving from place to place, staying with this family member, staying with that family member. A lot of the childhood or just moving around. And with only having my mother around, I saw her living mainly in her masculine energy. Okay, she was definitely in survival mode. So I thought, that's the only way to get through life. I saw so many things. I saw broken relationships. I saw abuse, lack of accountability, manipulation tactics. And like I said, I felt like you had to do these things. That was the only way to survive. But I was sadly mistaken. The real thing that I was witnessing was someone who was unhealed, okay, but also carrying so much of her own trauma that she had passed down to her kids. So you see, this is how generational curses are created. Witnessing those things, picking it up, it intruded into my adult life, into my relationships, okay? A lot of my relationships, I felt like I had to be in my masculine energy. I felt like I couldn't be soft. I had to have this tough exterior. I went searching for stability and codependency because of my abandonment, daddy and mommy issues. Okay, I overworked myself a lot in my 20s. And even a little bit now before my awakening, before I had my awakening, because that survival mode had me thinking, that I had to do these things. I did not want to end up how I did when I was a child, right? I did not want to have these certain things for my children that I grew up with. So I carried that feeling of instability along with me. I carried that with me, and that's what caused me to, try to be this perfectionist, to overwork and carry all of these loads. All because I didn't want to relive out that. Okay, I didn't want to have my children to experience that instability. So I began to live off my childhood fears. And that's going to be the next mini episode where we'll talk about survival mode. And then also when I was younger, I used to seek validation a lot, really because I really wasn't accepted, or at least I didn't feel accepted, okay? Especially in school. I had my friends, but I didn't feel accepted, like maybe how I was seeing people on the outside of me, right? So basically a popular loner. So I always found myself, trying to be perfect because I felt I had to. And society will do that to you. If you want to fit in certain groups, if you want to do this, right, society will put on that you have to be a certain way to even enter this or to gain access to that. So, that played a lot on me as far as like acceptance. So looking back, I can actually say that my childhood shaped a lot of beliefs for me, things that I didn't choose, that I didn't ask for. A lot of these experiences, I suppressed and basically thought that, the past is the past, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Not knowing that later in my life, those same things would resurface and interfere with my adulthood. But one thing I can say through it all, right, is that I am grateful for being able to acknowledge them. I'm grateful for being able to face those shadows because now I can release them and live for me. I don't have to have anybody to narrate my story. Now I can narrate my own story without any projections from my childhood experiences. So I now dictate my life. And I'm not going to say like sometimes the lessons don't come up again, because sometimes in life, they do come up because healing isn't linear, right? It's like now I know what to do and how to handle these situations. Now I know how to utilize what it is that I've learned for my future. So I realized that it had to end with me when it came to breaking these cycles, these generational curses. And I realized that I didn't only do it for me, but I also did it for those that came after me. So they wouldn't have to hold any pain that they weren't meant to carry. Okay, unless it comes from their own decision making, right? Because we all have choices, and those choices shape your path and how you move forward. Ashe. Okay, so yes, basically I'm going to go ahead and end this mini episode here. I just wanted to come on, and be transparent and share some examples and my truth, my story about, how these things did affect me in my adulthood. So I hope, by sharing this message, I gave somebody the courage to want to, come out and speak on theirs. When you release these things, you don't have to do it in silence. Healing is not always done in silence, okay? A lot of the time, silence does help. So you can hear those voices from within, so you can trust and hear yourself, right? And reflect on your things. But when you're ready to speak, when you're ready to share, when you're ready to teach, it is okay to do so, all right? And remember, we are healing, not healed, all right? And if this is something that, you enjoy, please, 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 follow me on Discord. Add me on Discord, please, and check out my YouTube as well. All right. And I want to thank everybody who is subscribing to my YouTube. I really appreciate y'all. Everybody who's on TikTok here, following me. I really appreciate the support. It's been so long and I'm slowly growing, but I'm glad it's the people that resonates with me. I don't want just anybody following me. I'm trying to find my soul family, my soul tribe. And that's what's most important to me right now. After going through this healing, being alone, I'm ready to, find my tribe, and we can do this thing together. Ashe. So yes, if you're interested, please click the link in my bio, okay, and join my Discord, because we're going to have so much more conversations like this. I'm just trying to build it up. All right. Thank you all in advance. I'm sending you all peace, love, power, and protection. Ashe. And remember, to the broken pieces that led me here, thank you. To the part of me I buried, I see you. To the woman I'm still becoming, I trust you. All right. This is Rooted in Grace with Shay, and this is how I rise. Ashe.